people, even part of the Australia is joining in that. So I think it's a very good idea even to think about conducting a virtual camp, because now there is no limitation. You can do as many as you would like. So I think virtual camps is a very good possibility to do it. And another thing is that maybe it's a good idea to do this kind of things every 3 months, because Mihir, how often you are releasing the newsletter? Every 3 months.
Every 3 months. Yes.
So if we do one before that, then maybe it's easier for people to give their feedback here, and
Hmm.
then then they can just what they have articulated, they can just give that in writing, because already so many things have come up. I think for one
Yeah.
newsletter there is already enough
Yeah.
information. So I think it may be a good idea. Also, for Nidhi, I was saying that birthday and sanskars that they are doing, if it is okay, if they can send the name of the kids to us, and also if we can have the birthdays of each one of you, because we recently started a project to send something on birthday, and we can do start that. So if we can have the birthday of everyone, it would be much easier.
Mm.
And another thing that I was thinking, maybe I will ask Amy Ben to give her feedback on this, is that the can we send some certificates, like 100 kids Nidhi mentioned about in New Jersey Center, and also for other kids. If this is of any benefit to them, then we would be happy to send some certifications from here to you, and then you can distribute, and also to the volunteers of the AWGB youth group. So if it is of benefit, then maybe something like you may wish to draft it, and we can design it and print it from here and then send it to you. I think it may be a good idea, especially to appreciate those who are really doing the hard work. So from certificate of participation to certificate of merit, if that is of something of utility, then please send, and we would be happy to send it back.
Sure.
Another thing that I was thinking is that the audio books that I believe no, Krishna was doing it. If once you finish doing it, then could you send the MP4 copies to us so that we can make it available on the AWGP website, and then people can also download it directly from the Shanti Kunj Gayatri Parivar website directly
Hmm.
if they would wish to. So that may be another suggestion. And lastly, um, two things actually. One is that we started a project called Gyan Ganga here, in which we the literature of the Gurudev, where what we are doing is that we have taken it to wider audience, not only to the people in Gayatri Parivar. And anyone who reads one book of Gurudev, he is supposed to provide a testimonial and also the summary of the book. And many people, they are loving it like anything, and so many people are participating. I will share the copy of the PowerPoint presentation soon after our talk with you. And then, please have a look, because this is a very good idea in which they are supposed to read the book, and then different groups are being formed. They are giving a summary, they are giving a book synopsis, that if somebody new want to read the Gurdev's literature, then what should he expect from this book? And that is also helpful for many other funds, because we are about to start the launching the books of Gurudev on Amazon and other such portals. So there you need a book synopsis. So all the book synopsis being presented can also be used there. In addition to that, they are also preparing a small question and answer kind of formats from the book. So
Hmm.
if you read the great moments of change and something, and then you can maybe Richard, that is for your group, is that they are preparing the question and answer also. So if later on you would like to use one of those books as for any say for example, if we want to use them for Bal Sanskar Shala project, and we want to give the kids the book to read, and we want them to answer back, or we want to have an exam like some kind of examination or competition, then these questions are already in hand and they could be used. Last thing that I wanted to say is that maybe doing a competition, on certain special occasions like Vasant Panchami is coming, would be of benefit, like either writing an essay on some concept, or even Meher, it may be useful
Hmm.
for your because if maybe you can launch a competition, essay competition on new beginning, and
Yeah.
then the successful essays could be printed, or even the drawing competitions could be there, poem competitions would be there. Then you won't have to ask people to submit it. They would get the reward by
Hmm.
getting them published. Like, it may be something, and that could be all across the Bal Sanskar shalas for kids to do it. Would
Yeah.
be a small competition. And last was saying that if either a group from all AWGP and USA and Canada that we were hoping to have this year, but somehow nothing happened this year.
Hmm.
So hopefully next year we can plan. So Kumbh is taking place in March and April, and if the circumstances permit, then group of the youths who wish to travel together, they are all welcome.
Hmm.
So that's it. And now I don't know how much time we have got 6 minutes, Rohan, so I will go through the questions. So Rohan asked, and I go through the questions of Rohan first. I think some of the questions I'm just actually having a look. First, I will mention those because I think some of them I unknowingly answered, like
Hmm.
what kind of projects I would like to see the youth across North America doing in 2021. I think already too many I talked about. Then the good question, the first question that you have asked is so beautiful. What would you recommend youth who feel like that they can't find time for sadhana? That takes us to the basic misunderstanding that almost everyone has, because people think that sadhana is something that is supposed to be done at a particular hour of the day in a particular place. Sadhana is every second. Even when I'm talking to you, when you are talking back to me, it's sadhana. So every single second of refinement, wherever we are trying to embellish ourselves, and wherever we are trying to release a better version of myself to the world, an upgraded one, and better one than the one before, then it's sadhana. So it's a constant refinement. Constant refinement is difficult to see because of two challenges. One is that outer world, the progressions are very clear. Like, you complete your bachelor and then you go to the masters. It's very clear what kind of courses you would read, or what time you would give the examination, and whether you have passed it, you failed it, or you got A grade or B grade. And then a graduation day would take place and you would move to the next one. But if we are becoming a better human being than the one before, then there would be no convocation held. Like, there would be no graduation day ceremony. We just become. And because becoming is hard to be judged apart from our own introspection, and and in the eyes of the other people, it become, even eyes of the other people we can fool, but we can't fool ourselves or divinity, whichever we want to put it. So I think the sadhana that is absolutely appropriate uh, in the current times is the one that Gurudev gave, is Har Din Naya Janm, Har Raat Nayi Maut. Every day there is a new beginning, and every night there is a new end. And that again fits with the motto that Meher has taken for the new year. So every day there is a new beginning. Moment we are awake, it's a new beginning. And we have got only one day to live. How would we like to live it? This is how Gurudev said. Simple as that. People are losing their potential possibilities and energy because they are wasting it either in fantasy or in fear. It just goes into getting worried about things that may happen, or it's just getting wasted in hooked into the things that may happen from a fantasy point of view. But both of the things do not let us do what we could do. We are just actually, going in the past or future, but never available in the present. And the idea of the Gurudev was to help us focus ourselves right here where we currently are. And this is the best way to do it. So we start the day with Chintan and Manan, like Gurudev said. And To give a simple definition, Chintan is something to visualize that where I am right now, is this the place where I want it to be? Am I making the right choices? Am I living the right life? And then I would find two things. I will find some things which are not supposed to be there and there in my personality. Removing them is self embellishment. And I would find some things that I'm missing and I should have had. Bringing them is the self development. So we start the day with simple thinking like that this is the day and this is where we are and this is how we would like to live today. From personal point of view, what I would like to do, from spiritual point of view, from professional point of view, from physical, mental, we create a strategy for the day, and the night we just revisit and see whether we did justice to what we thought we would do for today, like whether we were able to live to our expectation. So one day, and I think that may be a good opportunity to start that sadhana, because that could be done anywhere. You don't need a mala to do it, you don't need an asan to do it, you don't need a statue to do it, you don't need a room to do it. You need yourself and your mind and your plan. That's it. And all is in your own software, so you can just check it anytime. So that is one thing. And that's a beautiful question. I think 3 and 4, probably 3 and 5 that you asked, Rohan, they are very similar. And Gurudev had said that love is his mantra. Given the political climate in the US over the past 4 years, and especially so during the current year, many people feel that they are in a position they can no longer reconcile their love for certain family members with those individuals' love for indefensible actions, statements made by leaders. What advice do you have for those who are struggling with this conflict? I believe that life is bigger than the politics. I think, like, if politicians, they are people like other people. And if their statements can influence us, then we definitely need to go beyond that. This is what they are supposed to do. This is what they are supposed to stir the sentiments of the people. And I think our love and compassion for people and humanity and for everyone is beyond that, or should be beyond that. We don't have to think people that some people are politicians and some people are not. People are people. If they are making mistakes, then whether they are in that position or the other position, they should be treated with the same situation. And I think if the hate feeling of the hatred is much stronger in the society, then it also offers us the challenge that we need to find our love and compassion even more strongly. It is a hard thing to do. I am not saying that it is very easy thing to do and it's just like could be done. But I think uh, if we are supposed to change the world, and if we are supposed to go beyond the boundaries of the language and culture and the nations and societies and any other border that human beings can make, then definitely politics should be the in the lowest kind of category that we are supposed to overcome it, because love is stronger. Not only it makes us better human being, but this is the essential premise of the Gayatri. There is one of the myth about Gayatri Mantra, that Gayatri Mantra was given the curse by three people, Brahma, Vashishta, and Vishwamitra. That's a metaphor. Brahma is the source of the knowledge. From his mouth came the Vedas. Idea is that if you want to have the values of the Gayatri in your life, the knowledge should come from within, not from the books and Wikipedia. It is the one that I discover. Then Vasisht is the reason why I mentioned it. Vasisht is a symbol of compassion and love and forgiveness. He is a symbol of that because Vishwamitra killed hundred his sons, all of his sons of Vasishtha's son. But only Vasishtha had the power to give the Brahmarshi Pada to Vishwamitra. And it took him no second to give it to him. He said, like, if I cannot overcome that kind of hatred, then there is no point of I doing the mantra of Gayatri. And Vishwamitra, his previous name was Vishwarath. Rath is one that we ride. So if we want to ride the world, or we want to destroy it, or we want to overpower it, then we become the Vishwarath. But the moment we have got Gayatri in our life, we become Vishwamitra, we become friend of everyone. So I believe, that it is a challenge, but this is the one that we are supposed to strongly do it. And in these difficult times, everywhere, in every possible dimension, the true strength of our love, compassion, forgiveness, and humility could be tested. And if other people are wrong, then they would have an opportunity to know it later in their life. And there are their own karma and other such things would be there to tell them the right path. But we should do whatever we believe is the right thing to do. And our belief is to do the things with love, compassion, humility. It's very hard because people who were enjoying their being in the home, many people are now struggling because they feel stuck actually there. And I think in those circumstances, finding the harmony with themselves in the relationship everywhere is very important. So I hope that answers the question, Rohan. And last thing, I will take maybe one question from newsletter.
We were thinking if it could be the, I mean, I guess the first one you partially answered through this one. I think some of the second or third one we can perhaps repackage with what you said in the beginning, since it might be more relevant in terms of new beginnings. But yeah.
Perfect. Then you can take it from there, Meher. And shall I answer one of them, or
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Please.
which one would you suggest? The first one, or
Whichever one you feel. I think the first one you answered in this question as well. So maybe
um,
the second or third.
second time, yeah. Yeah, I think one thing that I would say that when we read like Gurudev or Vivekanand or Aurobindo, I'm saying something different, but maybe something that you would be able to relate to, is that when we read uh, Mahapurush, then there is a tendency that we create a division in our mind where we think that these things are supposed to be followed in a much more idealistic world, that I need to be like that to follow that kind of principle and that kind of life. While we become great, not because we once we become great and then we do the great things. We become great if we start to live our everyday life with great values. And I think that's very important for each of us to remember that for us to follow what Gurudev said, we don't have to become different. We just have to bring those values in the current circumstances close to our heart and have a deep faith that we would be able to change it. Because one thing that is very important and essential is that many people have talked about it, but talking about it and passing through it is two different things. Like, when I say, okay, there is a fire, there is a fire, there is a fire, then I just have to say that there is a fire. But if you are passing through the fire, then it becomes much harder. And we are passing through the fire. And we can't shout about it anymore. We really have to find the water to extinguish it or some means to control it. And that kind of desperation is now needed. And that kind of Determination is now needed without making it a pressurous situation, without making it a stressful situation that, oh God, like, some panic has come, nothing like that. Because what it essentially requires is to live life with great kind of values and beliefs. And we are not the only one. There are so many other people. I see many people who may not be part of Gayatri Parivar, who may never heard the name of Gurudev, but they are living their life with greatest kind of beliefs. Their integrity is intact. Their value system is so beautiful. And we just have to be like that. We just have to be like that. And we have to constantly wake up every morning thinking that some higher power has entrusted upon us to bring change. We are the Will Smith of I Am Legend. So we have to, like, remember that. Otherwise, there would be lions everywhere, starting from New Jersey. So I think, like, we just have to really change it, really change it. And I'm very sure that we can do it. Very sure that we can do it. Just returned 2 days ago from Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, and I can tell you, people have got so much, like, love and care and enthusiasm. Even in the times of, like, darkness, the people are happy like anything, and they really want to do things. Although many things, they do not give immediate benefit to us. We think, okay, fine, we are doing a Thursday morning call, we are doing a Monday morning call, we are doing Bal Sanskar Shala. How is that going to change anything? But they are changing, because we are like planting the tree, and it does not give us the fruit immediately. It takes 30 years, but then it gives. So we need to believe that we are investing not in the money, but in the knowledge and wisdom. Because when you invest in knowledge and wisdom and sanskar and personality, then it's not something that you would find now, 30 years from now. Imagine that 31 people who are in this group, you all would be sitting as CEO, or, like, bosses of big places 30 years from now. Then your pen would have the power to change the life of 1,000 people, or 10,000 people, or 100,000 people, and you make a right decision. World is a different place. The problem is that people who have got the power, they don't have the sentiment, right sentiment. And people who have got the right sentiment, they don't have the power. What we are trying to do is to bring both to one person. Person with power should have the right sentiment. So that's it. And then world is a different place. So have this faith, because this is the thing that takes time. Like, this is the thing where people usually struggle, that fine, we are doing all this, but whether it is making any difference. It is making a difference, because it's not something that happened overnight. uh, I am what I am because I was reading at a time, like, vast amount of literature. That time it made no difference, but now it is, like, very handy to remember so many information, and to put that into practice whenever it is needed. So same now. So that's it, that I would say. I hope that is of use. But one thing is that, never feel, uh, we never have to feel disheartened, because there is a divine power which is always guiding us, and also listening to this conversation, even if you haven't sent the Zoom link to that divine consciousness. It's always there. And we are never alone. And and we are never not protected. We are always protected, we are always guided, and we are always uh, watched, not with a judgmental eye, but with a careful eye. So that's the beauty of gurus. They don't see you from the eyes of the, like, a judge, or someone else who want to, like, only think about giving punishment to someone, but think about how refinement could take place. That's the beauty of Gurudev.